So you feel alone. Congratulations. Maybe this is a start of you finding out who you are. I want you to know you are not alone in this. There are so many people who are going through this right now, and I have been there too. I wanted to make this video because I wish someone made this video when I felt alone, when I was on my own. And I felt terrible at the time. I felt I was the only one who was going through this. So I hope this video sends some light and some warmth to you to make you aware that you are not on your own. So when I was alone, I would distract myself by reading books. I would write. I would listen to tons of podcasts to distract myself, to learn about things which I was passionate about. I was very much into self-development, and I am. But that's how I spent most of my time, by reading, by listening, by writing, by working. And I kept myself in that bubble for the longest time. And I was very hard on myself. I was very self-critical for not hanging out with people, not hanging out with friends. And I thought that this is so sad. Not having friends is so sad. And I judged myself a lot during that period. I felt that I am not good enough. Have you experienced this? When you feel like you do not have people in your life because you are not good enough? You never look at in other perspective. You always feel like there's something wrong with you. It's your fault in some ways. Have you felt this before? And the reason why I isolated myself and I consciously chose to do that. I consciously chose to leave a lot of friends. That was very difficult, but it was a conscious choice. It was my choice. And the reason, not because those friends were not good people, it was just because I no longer felt happy hanging out with people who were not like me. And I found myself feeling like I'm not enjoying this. I felt that I was not aligned with who they are, and they were not aligned with who I am. So I felt I am being very unfair to myself by being around people who are not like me in terms of the things I enjoy, the things I like, the things I'm interested in. I was just forcing myself to be with people because I thought that's what you do. You have to be socializing with people because that's what we do. I became very aware that it was not making me happy. And I slowly started cutting down people from my life. And then one day I realized I'm on my own. I have no friends. And that definitely not a great feeling. I definitely didn't feel good enough. I definitely didn't feel happy by not having people, because we are a social animal. As human being, we want to be around people, but we have to be aware whether those people are uplifting us or they are crushing us down, or they are making us less of who we are. And when it happens where people are making us less of who we are, that's when you kind of have to make that difficult choice. You have to make that difficult decision of letting go. And it's not easy to let go. If you've been around those people for years and years, it's very difficult to let go. But if we don't, then we start losing ourselves. And that's how I felt. I felt like I was losing myself. I felt like I am getting more distant from myself. Even though I was around so many people, I had a lot of friends. I was around 8 to 10 people consistently. Every weekend, going out for meals, dinners, hanging out with people doing different activities. But I felt less of myself when I was with them. I didn't feel like I belonged there. I was just forcing myself to be there because I was conditioned to be around people. I was conditioned to socialize. Otherwise, you are a sad person if you're not around people, right? I realized it was not helping me. It was actually making me more sad. Being around people were making me more unhappy. I realized how different I was from them. And as I was becoming aware of how different I am, more realization occurred, more need for distance occurred, that I have to make different choices. I have to leave. I have to do something else. And when you are in that space, when you feel like you have to cut yourself off, the first thing I want you to know that you should not feel ashamed of not having friends. That's what I did. I shamed myself for not having friends, for leaving my friends, for leaving people, for not hanging out, not socializing. I shamed myself. But I want you to know there's nothing to be ashamed of. Looking back, I can really say that it was the best decision I made for myself. Leaving people who were not aligned with me was the best decision. It really helped me to become closer to who I am. It really helped me to recognize my passion. It really helped me to work on myself, to be evolved version of myself. It really helped me to recognize what matters to me. I would say do not shame yourself for not having friends at this moment. It may feel hard, it may feel difficult, but you are maybe onto something. You are maybe going to go somewhere. It maybe give you some insight, awareness of who you are. And I want you to not let go of that. That's so precious. People travel, people spend years and years trying to figure out who they are. But if you are making conscious choices in your life to choose yourself, to recognize your own passion, your own purpose, your own understanding of who you are, then you are doing a great work. You are doing amazing work. And I really want you to hear this, because when I was going through, nobody told me this. So I want you to hear that you are doing a great job if you decided, if you made a choice to be alone, to find out exactly what works for you, what matters to you, to find out what kind of people you really want to be around. Being alone doesn't mean that you are not likable. It doesn't mean that you are weird or strange. It definitely doesn't mean that you're not good enough to have friends. It just means that you are making different choices in your life. You are making different decisions than people who you hang out with or who you used to hang out with. You are on a different path than your friends. And that's okay. You're allowed to make those choices. You're allowed to make those decisions. So I want you to know that it's not that because you're not good enough. It's not that you're not worthy. It's not that you're not likable. It's not that you're not a good person. It just means that you're on a different path right now, and you're allowed to make those choices and those decisions and do what you really feel aligned with. And if you feel aligned with being on your own, figuring out who you are, figuring out what's your passion, purpose, or maybe you're working on your business, or maybe you are really focused on your career, or maybe you're really focused on your self-growth, it's all good. You're allowed to make those decisions. Another thing I really want you to be aware of, that in this instant, you will also lose friends. If you're somebody who has been working on themselves, you may be shifting your energy, your vibes, your frequency. And I have made a whole video, which I will link it for you, about energy frequency, where if you have been working on yourself and you are becoming aware and conscious, you will be in a different energy, different frequency. And when we are on a different frequency, different energy, naturally people who are not aligned with us, they leave us. They naturally don't feel fit to be in our life because they are vibrating and they have a different frequency and energy. And when people are on different energy, they will not feel aligned. They might find you difficult. They might feel like they may feel triggered by you. They may feel they don't understand you, or you may not understand them. You may feel like energetically they are on a different place and they might be on a lower energy, and you've been working on yourself and you've been increasing your energy, your frequency. You're on a different energy. So when that gap happens in this period, you may be alone for a bit of time whilst you are raising your energy. And as you settle into your higher energy, you will start attracting new people in your life. You start attracting new friends, new colleagues, new partners, business partners, or people, or new kind of job or opportunities start coming your way because you have changed your frequency. And it does have a bit of gap because life doesn't show you the results straight away. It takes a bit of time. There's a bit of a gap because as we are growing, as we are evolving, we are always, life or the universe or whatever you want to call it, gives you a space to see whether you will go back, whether you will dip, whether you go back to those people. Because some people, they will be working on themselves, they get scared and they feel like, oh, I'm alone. Oh, I may have to go back. I may have to go back to and connect with those people, even though they were not good for me. They may be toxic or narcissistic, but because I feel alone, let me go back. So life tests you. So there will be a period where you may be alone, and that period is really, life is testing you whether you are actually intentionally, are you going to be in this space, or are you going to dip? Are you going to go back? So some people go back and then they again feel this resistance. Again, they feel like, unhappy, angry, frustrated, irritated, triggered. And then they start working again on themselves and start leaving. But life keeps testing you until you make strong intention, commitment that no, this is your space. This is where you're going to be. This is your energy. This is your frequency. You're not going to dip. That's when you start attracting people who are on the same energy. But I have done a whole video on this. I will link it for you to check this out. But that's another reason you may be alone. That's another reason you might find yourself being isolated, not having people around you. And that's okay. That's a good thing. That's a positive thing. There's nothing wrong with that. We are all evolving in different ways. Allow yourself to grow out of people, grow out of those friendships if that's what's happening. Allow it and accept it. Acceptance is big when you are alone, because most of the time we become really hard on ourselves, and I was very hard on myself. So accept that yes, you are alone and this is your time, this is your period, your time to really understand exactly what really makes you happy, really makes you joyful. So allow yourself this time to accept and be in this alone time. And being alone doesn't really mean being lonely. You can be alone but be very happy. You may enjoy this peace, this joy. And that's what I learned. I love being alone. I really enjoy my own time, my own space. It allows me to learn. It allows me to grow. It allows me to work on my business. It allows me to focus and refocus on what matters to me. So I really enjoy a time of peace, meditation, working on myself, working on my business, it really makes me feel good. But I also then meet people. I also go out and schedule time for people who matter to me. And that's important. But I have blocks of time where I am on my own and I really love it. Another thing you have to look at when you are alone is figuring out why you're alone. And that's the more of an assessment to recognize why you chose to be alone, what caused that, and really writing down, journaling on the reasons why you chose to be alone, reasons why you left your friends. What are the good things happened since you've become more isolated and alone? What things you want to change, or what things you've learned by being alone? What things you want to implement or introduce in your life, because you have created this space, and space is great to realize and recognize and have clarity and have alignment with yourself, so that when you go back consciously, you can choose your friends. You can't choose your family, but you can choose your friends. You can consciously make a decision to choose your friends, to bring people in your life who are aligned with you. So if you have a passion, if you love something, painting, yoga, working on yourself, business, speaking, you can align yourself with people who are on a similar path, on similar journey, and you can all work together to achieve that goal, that purpose together. And what I've learned is really going into events, networking events, social events where I do meet like-minded people who are aligned with me, who are working on their passion, their purpose, and I am working on my passion and my purpose. And then we are aligned, and I get fascinated with their journey. They get fascinated with my journey and my story. And it is so exciting. It is so unbelievable when you share your passion, your learnings with people who are on a similar path. You learn so much and you grow. That's such a healthy way to have friendship and people who shared similar vision and similar path, similar passion. And then that becomes beautiful, healthy relationship. So instead of putting yourself down, instead of feeling that you're not good enough, instead of feeling that people don't like you, appreciate the space, appreciate this feeling, appreciate this isolation, celebrate it, allow yourself to feel, let me take this time to assess what I want, assess what makes me feel happy, assess what kind of people I want to hang out with, and then go to those events and social events. In the UK, there's meetup groups. I'm sure in different countries, you might have social groups, Facebook groups where people are creating social events. You hang out, you connect with people in different ways. Now, these days online, there's so many events happening to meet up with people with similar passion, similar path. Then that becomes very exciting. And that becomes a ritual, an amazing thing. And why would you not want to do that? How does that make you feel being alone? How does that make you feel being in this isolation? Do you feel sad? Do you feel frustrated? Does it give you peace? Does it give you awareness? Does it give you joy? Comment below. Let me know how it makes you feel. And I also wanted to mention that if you want to be coached by me to let go of emotional pain and become the transformed version of yourself, I have linked my website below for you to complete a short application to qualify for a clarity call with me to see if we are right fit to work together. So like this video if you like this video, and this is the next video you should watch.